Hi there, this is Scribbly again with another pen review, and today I want to talk about a fountain pen again, which is the F.P.R. Indus Fountain Pen Revolution Indus. This is a demonstrator pen and it's a piston filling fountain pen. Now, the one thing that I would like to say first is that very often you hear that the most inexpensive fountain pens on the market are actually those ones here, the TWSBI Echoes. They are certainly very inexpensive and they are top quality pens. I like them a lot, but they are not the cheapest or most inexpensive piston filling fountain pens on the market, because those are the Fountain Pen Revolution fountain pens. Like, they have, I think the website is fountainpenrevolution.com or something like that. They have a lot of different models. There are others called Cervex and Jaipur, I think, and others, and they come in a number of barrel colors and finishes. So go check that website out. I'll also link it in the post that accompanies this video here, this video review here. So these are the most inexpensive piston fillers, not those ones here. However, they're also inexpensive. And one thing I also have to say right from scratch is that they're really okay pens. They're not bad, but they're also not amazing. So they are more inexpensive than the TWSBIs, but the TWSBIs are the better fountain pens. I mean, the whole finishing, the manufacturing, the quality, the materials used, all that is definitely better on the TWSBI Echo. So if you want the better pen, you go for that one and you pay double as much money, or let's say 10 euro more or something like that. But if you want something more inexpensive, then that might be the pen for you to go for. So one thing that is funny about it, I mean, this pen here is made by, as said, by fountainpenrevolution.com. The owner is a guy named Kevin, and he's in the States. I think he's based in the States, and he does those pens as he has them made in India. So those are basically Indian fountain pens. And one thing that is really funny with Indian fountain pens is that they have a quite intense smell. I don't know why that is. I think it's the plastic. If you smell on the plastic barrel, it has like it's not uncomfortable, but it's intense. You really smell that when you take the pen out of a pen pouch or something like that. So it's a warm, sweet smell, I'd say, like sort of like an incense stick, or sandalwood incense stick or something like that. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's one thing I noted. So as said, it's a beautiful pen. It's a nice pen. I like it. It's a demonstrator pen, and I got a blue version here, but like I said, it comes in a number of other colors. It comes, you get it in all clear. So then that piston turning knob here is clear instead of blue or yellow or green or whichever color you choose. And the same applies to that inner cap here. Normally, I don't like it on demonstrator pens when the inner cap has a color. I like it when it's clear so that you can see the nib a little bit better. But it's definitely all right on that pen because A, you can still see the nib, and B, it just matches the overall color theme. Like, you have blue at the end here and blue at top. And I filled it with diamine sapphire blue, so it's also blue ink in there, which yeah, makes it a pretty sweet pen, I would say. So the pen has this golden clip here on top, which is pretty tight, but usable definitely. Then the finial is also this transparent blue plastic thing. You see that the pen, I mean, like, it costs around $17. Right, that is about 15 euro. So it is an inexpensive pen, and at times you see that also in the manufacturing. For example, you see that here when you turn the finial here, you see that it's pretty uneven. You see that up here. So so those measurements here, they are a little bit less than that measurement here, which is a longer distance. So you see those things, then you see a little bit of the bending here. You can also see, so where the piston or the plunger is screwed in, you see, I don't know, is that maybe it's silicone grease, maybe it's kind of a glue or something like that. So you see that a little bit. And for example, at the end of the barrel, I don't know if the camera picks that up, you also see some excess plastic or whatever. Yeah, you see it here. Which is of course from the manufacturing process. So that looks not only inexpensive, it does look a little cheap, but then again, it is a very inexpensive fountain pen. You see, for example, in here, there's some ink getting beyond the piston. You see that is probably, there's too little silicone grease used or whatever. So the pen has some small things on which you can see that it is an inexpensive pen. So as said, a TWSBI Echo, for example, is manufactured better, a lot better, but it is an inexpensive fountain pen, and so that's what you should expect from it. So otherwise it has like a gold colored metal center band here, which is very well made and looks beautiful. The pen, overall pen is beautiful. One thing that I don't like about it so much is that you really need to turn it 3 or 4 times, or 2 or 3, so you really need to turn it very often until you get the cap off. So that is a little bit of an obstacle to me to make it an effective and quick note taker, because I always have to turn and turn until I finally get that cap off. But that's just me, right? Personal preference. I like pens that I twist like once and then the cap comes off. That's what I like. So it's a screw-on cap, not a push-on cap. You see a cute little two-tone nib. There's a wide variety of nib options available actually, which is really great. And so it's a two-tone nib, steel nib, says F.P.R. I don't know if the camera picks that up. F.P.R. for Fountain Pen Revolution, and F for fine, because I got a fine nib here. On that one with a plastic feed. It's available nib options extra fine to broad, I guess, and then something that many will like to hear probably. You can also get that with a stub nib or with a steel flex nib. So there also, I don't know how well the feed will keep up with the flexing, but I think there are other reviews out there on the internet about the flex nib version. But you add, I think you have to, on those $17 that pen here costs, I think you gotta add another $3 or something like that, and then you get a stub or a flex nib, and I think also the broad nib costs $3 extra. What else is there to say about the pen? Another thing that is really great, I mean, like, as said, the pen costs $17 and you pay only $3 for worldwide shipping, which is like really good. I mean, so that's 20 bucks total for a piston filler, which is really good. I mean, like, honestly, if you add another a couple of euros or dollar, you get a Lamy Safari or an Pilot MR, which is also a better pen, I think. But then again, those are not piston fillers. Here you get a piston filler for that money, which has quite a good ink capacity. So then when we open it up again, the pen has another gold band here, just behind the nib and feed unit or in front of the section. The threads are not sharp. It's very comfortable to hold the pen. There's no problem with that. The section is also plastic. It's a fairly short section, but since the threads are not really sharp, it doesn't really matter too much where you hold the pen. And then, of course, you have the ink tank here. The nib and feed are friction fit, so you can pull those out in order to clean the pen. And you can also, if you like, turn the piston knob, you can also get the whole piston plunger thing out. But if you check on the fountainpenrevolution.com website, you will see Kevin has a lot of videos there how to maintain the pens and stuff like that. So you'll get a lot of help there in order to like service the pen. And then you have another gold band here at where the piston knob starts, and then this blue thing here is the piston knob itself. So let's see what more is there to say about the pen. I'll do a quick writing sample in a minute. The nib is actually, it's a nice nib. It's a steel nib, I think, but it's actually, I don't know if it's probably not, it is smooth, yeah, it's nice, but what I noticed is like a slight, it's not flexy, it's springy. It's a springy nib, so it's actually pretty pleasant to write with. It feels very soft. It does feel very soft. The pen that I have here was way too dry for me out of the box. So what I did was pressing the pen a little bit on the barrel like that here, while putting on the cap like that here, while putting my finger on top in order to spread out the tines a little bit. So I made the pen a little bit wetter like that. Which is the way how it now really writes well for me. And another thing that I have to say, I don't know if it's an issue with all of those pens, but it was an issue with that pen here, is that when I put it down capped for a day or two, it has some startup issues. So it takes a little bit. I'll need to, like, you see that here? So that pen was now down for just maybe 2 hours or so, and there are already startup issues. So that's something that happens often with that pen here for me. When I use it frequently, there's no problem, and as you see, it came up pretty quick again. So there's no huge problem with that, but it does have some startup issues at times. So let me have a quick look at my notes if there was something else that I wanted to talk about that pen before I do a writing sample. No, I think I was good with that. Maybe because I was talking about the comparison to the TWSBI Echo, and I have one here, I can make a quick size comparison here of those two pens. So you see the Indus is shorter than the Echo, and it's also thinner in diameter. Then when I uncap both pens, you see that the nib is about the same size, but the pen is still shorter. And then posted, I think the Echo is not really supposed to be posted, but you can post that one here, but yeah, it doesn't post very securely, but it does post. I would probably not write it posted, but just for you to see a size comparison, that's what it will look like. So then stow that away, and we'll get to a quick writing sample. As said, when I hold the pen in my hand like that, it is a pretty decent size. I have a little bit larger hands. The pen is really not too small for me. It's not too lightweight. It's around a little bit heavier than a Lamy Safari maybe, so it has a really comfortable weight to it. This is the F.P.R. Indus. I don't know if the camera picks up the springiness of the... you see that a little bit. You see? That is a quite springy nib. It lifts off the feet a little bit. So that makes it really pleasant to write. And the ink is Diamine Sapphire Blue. So this one here is a fine nib. When you use the pen, when you write with it, it actually writes very, very pleasant. The ink flow is good. It's a quite wet nib, I find. This here is regular copy paper. So it absorbs ink fairly fast, but it's believe me, it is a quite wet nib. It's very pleasant to write with. You can also squeeze out some line variation because it is springy, and so you see that is actually quite considerable line variation that you get out of such an inexpensive pen here. I would say that is really not too bad. Right, I mean, like, there are definitely some steel nibs where you don't even nearly get out so much line variation. So that was the review of the F.P.R. Indus. I hope that helps, and I'll see you next time at the next review. Bye bye.